Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another pre-release draft for Battle for Zendikar. Rare opened, Gul'Draz's Overseer, 6 mana, 3/4. This card seems okay, not insane. These cards are good. I don't know about first picking 2-color cards. I'm not in love with that. I mean, 6 mana, 3/4 flyer. It's not insane. The landfall ability is legitimately good. I mean, in a format that you've got, all these little Scion 1/1 creatures, playing a swamp and making them 3/1 attackers, I could see that being good. It's just the top end price is pretty pricey. This guy comes in and bounces if you process, which isn't bad. Lifespring Druid, I mean, it seems okay. It's a ramp, it's a fix. I mean, not bad. Stone Fury is some removal. I'm kind of leaning just towards the rare because it's monocolor. I think Emissary and Royal Spout's really good too because it's got Awaken, but we'll try out the rare. I think it's a little overpriced, but I think if you get enough Scion tokens, I bet the Vampire can be pretty good. Okay. Follow-up pick. Well, if we wanted to stay on color, probably take the Complete Disregard, which I think I like more than the Demon's Grasp. Demon's Grasp deals with more things, but you have to pay more mana. This is also instant speed and feeds your processor cards. What is oh, this card's a little too build around. I think Ulamog's Despoiler is pretty awesome, though. I mean, 6 mana, 5/5, and that's colorless. And if you process, it becomes a 9/9, but you do have to process 2 cards. I'm using that term correctly, I hope. I don't want to be just saying process 1,000 times. People are like, what are you talking about? Earthen Arms is probably a pretty good Awaken card. 7 mana, either put a 4/4 down and buff something, or I think you can also just make a 6/6 into one of your lands, which isn't bad. I'm fine taking Complete Disregard. Instant speed removal, not too bad, and like I said, feeding the process plan is pretty good. I like this Steward for a little life gain ally build, but let's take the Complete Disregard for now. I'm okay with that. Okay. Miasma, which I think is fine. Probably a better sideboard card than main deck, but I'm sure it's main deckable in this format. Mindraker. When it enters, you can process. If you do, each opponent discards. That's not bad, I guess. Otherwise, it's just a hill giant. Ruination Guide seems like a great card. Ingest and it buffs your Scions. I might just want to take that. It seems better than Mindraker. Miasma might be good enough, though. 7 mana seems like quite a bit to Awaken, and then 4 mana actually seems like quite a bit to give neg 2. But like I said, in a format with Scions, I guess it makes a little more sense that you'd have to pay a little bit more of a premium for a powerful effect such as that. I do think this Ruination Guide's probably pretty good. Buffing all of your Devoid guys and Scion tokens, and it's got Ingest. Seems like a lot of abilities tied up into one card. I think we're going to try this guide out. I've got a good feeling about it. I think it's a good card. Ooh, this guy seems real good. Flying, 4 power, Scries when it deals. And that's a lot of good abilities tied up into one card. There's also a Clutch Occurrence in here, which I love. But I think this Windrider Patrol is actually really strong. What else do we have in here? We have an ally that lets you give haste to creatures, a retreat. Another Mind Rig. I got to try this Patrol out. I do know Clutch of Currents is good. In fact, in my first draft, I was going back and I passed on a couple of these. I really should have. I think this card's really good. But I think this Patrol is actually pretty nuts. It only has 3 toughness, so it's not the best blocker, but that's I feel like it's a pretty aggressive beater. So I think we're going to take it. Okay. So Defiant Bloodlord, 7 mana, 4/5. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It seems a bit expensive. What's this thing do? Oh yeah, the counterspell. For creatures only, 4 or less, but it does feed the plan. 7 mana, 4/5 is not insane. I think Mist Intruder's probably decent. It does feed processing, and it does get buffed from Ruination Guide. And it's a cheap 2-drop evasive dude. I don't know how good this is yet. It probably is not bad, but I kind of want to. I think I'm okay trying out the Mist Intruder plan. Yeah, I think 7 mana 4/5 flying is a little bit too pricey for what I'm looking for. Blighted Gorge is a shock in red. Um, Ondu Rising is a pretty excellent card. Nirkana Assassin's not terribly exciting. I might just want to take an off-color card that I think is strong. Converging the Brilliant Spectrum doesn't seem all that good. Even if you pay 5 mana, you draw 5 cards and discard 2. So at its best, it's draw 5, discard 2 for 4 at sorcery, which I mean I guess is good, but I mean this is like unplayable at anything less than even at 4 it's draw 4, discard 2, and at 3 draw 3, discard 2. If you're in 3 color, seems terrible. I'm gonna try out this Ondu Rising. Or try it out. I mean, I already have. I know it's good. I'm just going to take it. Seems like a card you could splash for, too, which I kind of like. Okay, Tide Drifter is probably fine. Ooh, Scatter to the Winds. Isn't this worth something? Maybe not. We'll check. Well, regardless of the fact that it's not worth that much, it certainly is the pick here. I think Cascade is good, and I think Ruined Processor is pretty good, but Counterspell? Please. It seems like blue's open, huh? I don't know if black's open, but blue certainly seems open. All right, a late ally. We also saw fairly late Ondu Rising. Could be we're supposed to be in blue-white. I'm only giving up 2 cards. And Alter's Reap is good with the Scion plan. I think Coral Helm Guide is good too. In fact, I'd probably just take the Guide over the Envoy. I don't want to... I have a feeling white is open, but I might as well just stick to blue since blue definitely seems open. I mean, that was a late Scatter to the Winds. I can't imagine this card being bad in this format. It's like one of 2 instant speed awaken spells, not to mention just a hard counter. We're going to take the Coral Helm Guide. Okay, so we have an Ingester, which is fine. I mean, it's not a looter per se, but it's a cheap Ingester. I might just want the Merc Strider instead, though. The Bouncer instead. A couple decent white cards again. I think we're going to dip out of black and likely dip into white. But for now, I want to stick to blue. I really do want to cut blue hard, and I think Merc Strider is actually just good. I think Salvage Drone's good too, but I like being able to bounce things. And we already have, what, a couple Ingesters? Yeah. All right, well, that's weird. Tabling the Demon's Grasp I did not expect. I mean, granted, it's not an insane card, but it's certainly fine. Inspired Charge is probably fine too, but not super exciting. I'm just going to take the Demon's Grasp. Maybe we play 3 color, actually. All right, Royal Mage's Trick. So if I were to, say, play 3 colors, I could give -3, -0, and draw a card for 4 mana. That's okay. Wow. Rising Miasma. All right, we'll take it here. I mean, granted, it kills like basically all of our guys, but if you can find a good opportunity to cast it, or like I said, play it on a sideboard, I think it's actually pretty good. This is just a good trick. I think it's just a good trick. Colossarian Night Watch, 4/5 for 5 is not bad either, though. We don't have any life gain? No, I guess we have Ondu Rising, but that doesn't work quite the way you want it to with this. I'm going to take the Focus. Yeah, I don't think Brilliant Spectrum's good. Ghostly Sentinel seems fine, though. All right, we'll take it just to cut blue. Okay. All right, I think we're fairly successful pack 1. Let's sort by color. For some reason, I have to do that twice. Maybe somebody could answer why. And that's just not the first time I've had to do that for some reason. Brood Butcher. I have to check prices on cards. I know it's kind of annoying, but I have to make sure that I'm not passing value. Only because it's early and, all right, it's not worth anything. So no concern on that one. We've got a Silent Skimmer, which is not bad. We do have Pilgrim's Eye, which would actually help us towards this 3-color potential deck. And it's a fine card. It's not insane. What's this Entangler do again? Oh, yeah, it's like heavy infantry, but for all of your allies. It's not bad. Silent Skimmer's not bad either, though. It does get buffed from Ruination Guide. It does not ingest, but it's a good blocker, and it's a decent attacker. Tightening Coils actually seems like an okay removal spell, too. How badly do I want to play 3-color? I feel like splashing white doesn't seem difficult. Ondu Rising does feel like a card worth splashing for. Ghostly Sentinel, maybe not so much. And Lithomancer's Focus, probably not so much either. But I think I'm just going to take the Pilgrim's Eye, get a little fixer. There's probably the Skimmer or the Tightening Coils would be fine there. But I don't mind getting something that lets me potentially go into 3 colors. Spawning Bed, all right, that spits out a bunch of things. Dominator Drone is okay. Incubator Drone puts in a dude for ramping, which actually seems pretty good. I like getting 2 bodies for 1 card. It's probably more exciting than Guide or Culling Drone. This Herald guy is not too shabby either, but I don't know if I want to... Oh, Sheer Drop. It's removal. It's in a color that we can splash for. I don't have to splash white either, but I kind of want this drone. I guess it pairs better with my Overseer, which if I end up in black, which like I said, we tabled Rising Miasma and Demon's Grasp, which I thought black was getting cut, but tabling 2, it could be just not a ton of black was opened. This guy's insane. Yeah, Tajuru War Color is just insane. We're going to take the drone here. I want to get some token producers. All right. Part the Water Veil. 6 mana, take an extra turn. Or 9. Yeah, I mean, isn't that good? I don't quite understand. 6 mana, take an extra turn. Yeah, I think that's good. It's also a mythic. I don't know if it's worth anything. We're going to find out. It's not. How could it be worth that little? Is 6 mana, take an extra turn just not good? Even on top of possibly getting another effect? I got to take this card. 6 mana, take an extra turn. There's also Evolving Wilds, another Mist Intruder, a Retreat, which is, it's only okay. Scry 1 or tap or untap. I mean, tap is better if you could make a landfall at instant speed. I guess technically you can with like Evolving Wilds or a fetch land. There's also Bone Splinters in here, which is straight up hard removal. Which pairs well with like Pilgrim's Eye and Incubator Drone. But we're going to take part the Water Veil here. I got to take extra turns. Or at least try to. Alright, what does this do? It's probably bad, isn't it? Whenever you cast a colorless spell, converted mana cost 7 or greater, which we don't even have. Alright, I don't think that's the... What's Grave Birthing do? You exile a card in the graveyard and then you get a 1/1. So, and you draw... Okay, so it like feeds your processor plan, gives you a ramp token, and you draw a card at instant speed. This card's probably decent. I might just want the Bone Splinters. There's also Sludge Crawler. We have a decent amount of creatures, though, and I would like some removal. Anticipate's probably okay, too. But we're going to take Bone Splinters. A little bit of hard removal in a format with 10/8s. Seems okay to me. I would like some more token producers. But pairs well with Pilgrim's Eye and Incubator Drone, like I said. So, okay. I'm on board. Cryptic Cruiser. All right. You can tap things with it. Another Bone Splinters. Grave Birthing number 2. Tightening Coils. You can't go too hog wild on Bone Splinters, but I might just take a second one now. I think this Cruiser's fine. I think we'll take a second Bone Splinters for now. And then I think at that point I'm probably good. Ooh. Well, this card's only okay. It's like I don't love that you have to pay Hill Giant price for it. And then it's 5 mana to like basically kill Scion tokens. Might be the only pick I care about in here. I mean, I could do Retreat. We don't really have a life gain plan so much. And giving Death Touch on your turn only also isn't insane. I mean, I could try the Sharpshooter out. I don't think it's great, though. But I don't need the Retreat either, I don't think. I mean, we're looking like an 18-land deck if we play the white. I guess we'll take we'll try out the Sharpshooter. I don't think it's great. I don't like this Stalker too much. Paying 5 mana for a 2 toughness thing, even though it's got the landfall ability, is not great. Could take the Cloud Manta. I don't love this card if you're... Well, I mean, I think it's fine. 4 mana, 3/2 flying is not bad. I don't think this is necessarily the best deck for it, since we're more of a... It seems like we're more of a late game win card at the moment, but we'll take it. It flies, attacks for 3. Seems like the right pick. Okay, now there's a Mindraker. Dutiful Return is not a bad card. I think we'll take this, though. Potential to make your opponent discard seems fine. All right. Devastator. Might just want the Mortuary Mire. Also Dispel for sideboard. Devastator. We don't have a ton of ramp. I think I'd rather just take the Mire. Bring back, I don't know, something. We'll figure that out later. Just seems like a free card. All right. Spawning Bed is fine. It's going to work well with Bone Splinters. It's going to work well with Gul'Draz's Overseer. It's going to work well with Ruination Guide. Otherwise, another Coral Helm Guide or a Dominator Drone is fine. But we'll take the Spawning Bed. I think at this point we're probably going to dip out a white, even though we have the Pilgrim's Eye. Maybe I play the Ondu Rising. There's a chance. But if we're playing a colorless land, it's going to be a little bit harder. Maybe not because we're playing 18 lands. It should be fine. Hedron Blade. All right, so, yeah, I mean, it's not great. Neither is the Retreat. I guess we'll take it anyway. Grave Birthing. All right, well, take it, possibly playing it. Looming Spire seems decent. All right, well, we're interesting looking. So really we just need some more creatures out of pack 3 here. I think the 2 Bone Splinters are still fine, but I probably, like I said, don't want to go really any deeper on that. I'm actually pretty happy I picked up the Spawning Bed. I think this card's going to be good in a deck that's got like 2 Lord effects for it. So what does our deck really need? It needs more. Okay, so we just basically need some more early game, and then I'll feel fine about this deck. I actually think we're still 17 lands. Although Spawning Bed is pretty pricey to use. I still think, I mean, there's really no reason to go 18 lands if we're not last pick Reclaiming Vines. This card's pretty playable. But there's no reason to go 18 lands if we're not going to splash for white. We do have the Pilgrim's Eye, like I said, 2 splash for white, but Conduit of Ruin. 6 mana, 5/5. You can search for a 7 mana cost colorless creature, and the first creature you it's actually not bad. It seems like a decent 6-drop 5/5. It's not probably worth anything, right? But maybe it's a good limited card anyway. It's not worth anything, but is there anything else? Otherwise, Incubator Drone, which might just be better for the deck. Get another thing that benefits us with our Lord effects, right? Spit out another 1/1, better for the Overseer, better for the Guide. Conduit of Ruin, though, how good. So it finds nothing in our deck, and it makes our relatively cheap guys cheaper. It just seems like it's not something that we need, whereas Incubator Drone just seems to synergize better with our Lord effects. Not to mention just getting multiple bodies is better for double Bone Splinters. All right, we'll take the Drone. It just seems like it's going to be better for us. All right, there's a Ruin Processor in here, which would have been something we could find. Rush of Ice seems actually like a decent card. 5 mana, tap something it doesn't untap and possibly get a creature. I like this Malachor Familiar, though. Even if I don't have life gain, 2/1 flyer is not bad. We also have Complete Disregard. Good options in here, definitely. I think Spell Shrivel's probably okay in a format. How good is Ruin Processor? 7 mana, 7/8. That's a good body. And potential gain 5. That seems powerful. I feel like if I take Processor, though, maybe I'm going to have to go, not have to go 18 lands, but how many finishers do I currently have? I have like Patrol, Overseer with token production stuff. I don't have a ton. I don't mind taking the Processor, though. I do feel like we can... I feel like a lot of times it's going to be a 7 mana, 7/8, gain 5, which is pretty good. But I think Familiar is good, too. I'm going to take the 7-drop. I've got a feeling Processor is decent in this deck. What do? 6 mana, 6/6 Vigilance. Okay, insane. And then sack 2 of the El Scion tokens and bring it back to your hand. 6 mana, 6/6 Vigilance seems great. Infiltrator seems great too. Ingest especially, unblockable, good blocker. This Behemoth seems really good though. Like I said, I don't mind playing 18 lands if we have good reasons to. I don't know, man. 6 mana, 6/6 Vigilance seems really good. Am I like overestimating how good this card is? It blocks and attacks well. Infiltrator seems really good, but I don't think we're going to wheel Behemoth. We're not going to wheel Infiltrator. I got to try this card out. I feel like this card is really good. Adverse Conditions is a card I like. Definitely a card I like. Oracle of Dust is fine. Spell Shrivel, a little counter spell. I think I want to take this Adverse Conditions. It's a nice time buyer as well as feeds into a ramp and synergizes well, I think, with what we've got. So, all right. What would be my first cut? Probably something expensive. I don't love Cloud Manta in this deck, honestly. We look like a deck that needs to be more defensive, and a 4 mana 3/2 isn't a great defensive card. But then again, I mean, I don't know. I think for now we're just going to take the conditions, and we'll have to figure out what we want to cut later. All right. I mean, Alter's Reap seems really good. A second processor, geez. Probably just want the Sky Spawner. That seems really good. It's like multiple bodies. It's devoid. It's sick with Ruination Guide. Awesome with Overseer. Awesome with our cards we want to ramp into. I like Alter's Reap a lot too, but Sky Spawner just seems like perfect synergy with our deck. Merc Strider number 2, also Rune Processor and Skyline Cascade, all of which are fine. This doesn't have Ingest, does it? No, that's okay. That's okay. Let's probably cut the Sharpshooter. I don't think we need that. It's not great. Kind of want to take the Strider. Taking a second processor doesn't seem like the best idea. Although we've got some, we legitimately have rampers at this point. I kind of like potential on Merc Strider. We already have a lot of 4-drops, but I like Strider more than Mindbreaker. Pretty sure. Maybe not. No, I think I'm right on that. All right, Alter's Reap is just great for our deck. I think Oracle of Dust is okay, but Alter's Reap just seems like something great for our deck. Bloodbond, Vamp, 4 mana 3/3. No, I don't think so. Second Grave Birthing's not great either. Silent Skimmer, we're a little 4-drop heavy. Incubator Drone number 3 though. Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go with the drones. Drones for days. I might just sideboard Miasma. I think the card's fine, but it basically just kills everything in our deck, which I don't think is great. Let's cut the Cloud Manta too. At this point, we're playing 18 lands, mostly because, I mean, we don't have to. We don't have to. I admit, we're 2-color. We could legitimately play 17 lands because we've got like Pilgrim's Eye, Sky Spawner. That's debatable. All right, what of these cards do I want to cut? I don't really care about any of them. Healer could be annoying, I guess. Earthen Arms could be good too, though. Great Horn seems like a actually decent 4-drop. Maybe I hate against an allied strategy. I could see that card being annoying. All right, Coral Helm Guide number 2, just to give us more early game, or Spell Shrivel. I think I want the Spell Shrivel. It feeds into Processor Plan, which I think is good. Plus, it's a counterspell. Coral Helm Guide's another 2-drop, though, which is also good. It's not that we're creature light exactly, but I think a counterspell is decent, probably in this format. I guess we already have a better counter, so maybe we don't need Spell Shrivel. I want to make sure I'm doing enough early things. I could also just take the Cascade. I'm going to take the Guide. I feel like if I don't have enough early things, I could get punished. All right, I think Sludge Crawler is actually something our deck wants quite a bit. We want to be able to process for double. We want to ingest for double Merc Strider. I think Anticipate's good too, by the way. None of these cards really matter. I guess we'll take the Oracle. I don't think we're going to play it, though. Probably don't need a second Alter's Reap. This thing, on the other hand, is pretty good. That's a good common. Just Beastmaster for days, huh? All right. All right, well, I think we actually got a pretty good little brew here. So the question is, do we want to run 18 lands? I'm not entirely convinced we do. We're two color, so it's not an issue of you know, color fixing. What does adverse conditions do again? I already forgot. No, this card's great. Okay, so triple incubator drone. I mean, we've got the means to get to 6 and 7. How good is... Oh, I think Overseer is actually good in this deck with triple incubator drone and Sky Spawner. We've got decent ingesters, right? Crawler, Intruder, Guide. Is that it? Disregard feeds processing. Grave Birthing feeds processing. That might be it, but still, that's decent. Is this card not good? How could this... Why is it worth nothing? Maybe just because it's 6 mana, taking extra turns, not that good, but... Taking extra turns typically is pretty good. So, arguments for running 18 lands. We've got Spawning Bed, which is going to be pretty difficult to activate without 18 lands. Not impossible, but you need 7 lands. And Mortuary Mire, which it's not a reason to play 18 lands, really. But Spawning Bed is, I guess, a decent one. We have a 6 and a 7 drop. I don't think that's an issue. So let's figure out what our cuts are. I think this deck could actually be just fine, but we do have to figure out what the cuts are. How good is Grave Birthing? It's not insane. It does always draw you a card, but the problem is you need a target. So it doesn't always draw you a card. Plus your opponent chooses which they exile. You don't get to target, which is kind of weird, actually. You target the opponent and they choose. It should be you target. I'm not sure why it's not. Maybe I don't know, that wouldn't be too good. I mean, I guess it's like good against effects like Mortuary Mire or something, but it seems strange that you target the opponent. Getting a Ramper is good for our deck. It's also a colorless creature and drawing a card. I mean, and its instant speed doesn't seem busted by any means. I kind of want to play all my 4-drops. All of these 4-drops are good. Maybe I'm overvaluing Merc Strider because 4 mana, 2 toughness isn't great. I could see cutting a Merc Strider just to slightly lower the curve of our deck. Because I kind of want to keep everything. But maybe I cut a Grave Birthing and a Merc Strider. That way I cut something that feeds processing and something that requires processing. It is Devoid, I guess, which works well with Guide. I mean, bouncing stuff is good. I don't know how often we're going to be able to process that. It's not going to be like a ridiculous amount. So if I cut one Merc Strider, that lowers the 4-drop count of our deck, which I like. And if I cut Grave Birthing, this is a 17-lander. We've got a decent amount of early game. We have decent removal. We've got counter spells. A little bit of card advantage. Good creature count. Overseer, I think, still seems fine in this deck with the quantity of tokens we have. Processor and Behemoth seem good. Admittedly, Part the Water Veil seems like not a bad card for our deck, but not exactly what our deck wants to do. I mean, taking extra turns is probably better if we're like hyper aggro, but if you're hyper aggro, playing a 6-drop maybe a little more difficult too. Regardless, we're going to try the card out. I mean, it's a mythic take an extra turn spell, so it seems correct. I don't know if we have to play 18 lands. I mean, 3 6-drops, 1 7-drop with 1, 2, 3, 4 straight up ramp, 5 straight up ramp, and a Pilgrim's Eye, which doesn't straight up ramp, but feeds you lands. We probably can get to 6 and 7, I think, fairly easily. We're only doing how many things? We're only doing, well, let's not even count the bone splinters. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9. Okay, we have 9 things we can do for 3 mana or less. That's actually not bad. That's really not bad. That's like a fourth of our deck we can do in the first 3 turns, which I think is legitimate. I think we kind of need this double Coral Helm guy just to stay active early on. Yeah, I think this deck's fine. We'll probably run it like this. I think we're going to bring them more. We're definitely going to play Mire and Spawning Bed. Let's sort by color. Take a look at this. So we're definitely deeper blue than black. So between Spawning Bed and Mortuary Mire, we probably want probably 6 swamps and then 9. They say 5. Playing Sludge Crawler turn 1, I would argue is pretty important. I think we're gonna go like this. So 9 blue, 6, 7 black total with the Mortuary Mire. And with Pilgrim's Eye 2 to fix. Okay. Yeah, I like this deck. If I wanted to go 18 lands, what would be my last cut? I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to run it like this. This deck looks okay, I think. Not too bad. We've got some stuff going on. We've got a good late game plan with some fatties. We've got a good little token plan to get to our late game or to beat down with the help of Ruination Guide or Gul'Draz's Overseer. And we've got like Wind Rider Patrol, which randomly just hits hard, evasively. I think flyers are quite good in this format. Removal-wise, double Bone Splinters Complete Disregard is not bad. Scatter to the Wind seems like a great card. Yeah, okay. I'm comfortable with this deck. We'll run it like this. We'll see you round 1.